So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. Today we find out 90 days later, was it worth it buying the Ram 2500 or did I make a really heavy mistake? And when I say heavy, I mean it. This thing weighs as much as 3 Honda Civics. Today I'm going to cover the things I love, the things I don't like, and the things that absolutely drive me crazy about this truck right here. So stick around with me to the end to see the funniest thing that I dislike about this truck. So the thing that bothers me the most, I mean the absolute most about this truck right here, check this out. You ready? It's been 90 days since I purchased this truck right here. And we're gonna do a review on it. I'm gonna tell you all the good, the bad, the ugly, my favorite things, the worst things, and all the issues I'm having with it. But first we're gonna wash it. So let's get to the car wash. Woo! All right. I think that's only the second time I've washed this since I've owned it in 90 days. Just don't tell anyone about that. This thing's so tall, I can't even reach the top to wipe it. I'm literally on my tippy toes. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the stats of this thing. This thing is an absolute beast. All right, let's take a look at it. Let's take a moment to admire. Oh man, such a rookie. Let's get that out of the way. So this is it. I freshly washed it just today for you. So a little bit about the truck. It's a 2023 Ram 2500, obviously. But this is a gasser. It's not a diesel. I really wanted a diesel, but I just don't spend enough time towing to justify a diesel, the extra cost, the maintenance. Of course, it gets better gas mileage, but I just decided to go with the gasser. So this is in fact a gasser, 6.4 liter V8. Of course, it is a crew cab long bed, 4-wheel drive. I've wanted a long bed forever and I've never had one. And I always would look for a long bed. And then this time I actually was looking for a short bed, but ended up with a long bed. If you want a long bed in the future, look for a short bed, you'll find a long bed. If you want a long bed, vice versa, search for short beds, you'll end up with a long bed. Believe me, it works, I've tried. So this 7,000 pound truck can tow over 15,000 pounds. Now the only towing I've done here is with the bumper hitch or the pull tag hitch, whichever you want to call it. I do not have a fifth wheel, I do not have a gooseneck. All I have is a small tilt trailer, but it can carry construction equipment or cars. We do tow a lot of cars on it. It's actually made a few trips with cars. To be honest, I think it rides better loaded than it does without a trailer. This thing is brutal to drive with. Just go for a ride through town, man. This suspension is so stiff, it definitely needs to be preloaded. I'm almost thinking about putting half-ton springs in it. It could work. So any major issues about this truck? No, it doesn't really exist. Of course, it's a big truck. It's going to stick out quite a bit past your parking spots, but what would you expect with such a large truck? It drives around town just fine. Getting through parking lots can be a bit of a pain in the butt, but eventually you'll make it into a spot. You just won't be able to open your doors very far to get out. Another thing that a lot of people complain about is gas mileage. I'm back and forth on it, honestly. I'm a bit surprised at how good the gas mileage is. This thing's right now getting around 14 miles per gallon, and I thought it was gonna get much less than that. So for such a big truck, 14 miles per gallon is really not so bad. I don't wanna hear about it, what your diesel trucks are doing. I'm not interested, although I am jealous. So a lot of people ask me, would I buy it again? Of course I'd buy it again. I just also make sure you have shares and stocks in an oil company. It just works out that way. All right, let's get inside this truck. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. So from the inside, it's a pretty nice looking truck. You can see here is the view from the steering wheel. We've got a pretty decent sized screen. Let's go ahead and turn that on. So if I didn't mention it before, this is a Bighorn, you know, one step above a work truck, which I believe are the tradesmen. And this actually has one pretty nice set of options to it. It includes factory tow mirrors. These are power tow mirrors. We've got down here on the switches, all the controls for the mirror and the light. We've got backup lights, puddle lights, whatever, all on the mirrors. Power sliding mirrors. Pretty nice option. In fact, it does come with fog lights. And then along with fog lights comes Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay, honestly, this is my first vehicle that has it, and it's great. It works really well when it connects. I'm not sure why it's not connecting right now. Maybe I left my phone somewhere else. So in this package of options comes Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay is awesome. This is the first time I've ever had a car with it, and I absolutely love it. I mean truck. We do have the factory trailer brake controller, which honestly I was shocked that you can buy a 2500 without an integrated factory trailer brake controller. Who's buying a 2500 that's not gonna at least attach a trailer at least once in their life that has brakes on it? I don't know. But I did actually test drive one that didn't have it. And when I saw this one had it, I was really happy, because to buy a brake controller is another $300-400 bucks. And then you gotta wire it on top of that. So that is something that I found very nice. Also here, we have 4-wheel drive. Those are our options. One of my least favorite things right here, the volume knob style shifter. Why Ram does this, I wish I had an answer. I know you can get an option to have the actual column shift, but of course that's not on this. Maybe it's on the higher up packages, maybe Laramie or Limited. I can't even remember what they are. They're so far out of my price range, I didn't even look at any of those trucks. So here's what it looks like. It's quite spacious. One mod that I did to this truck, like if you can even call it a mod, absolutely worth it though, are these rubber floor liners. I just ended up with really cheap Amazon ones. These are Partzer brand, and they actually fit so good. They're spot on. I can't believe it. I went with the non-prime option, the slowest option. It took like 2 weeks to get, but they fit unbelievably. I've got them here in the back too. I'll share with you. You can see, don't mind my son's toys, those get in the way, but look at it, it goes over the hump all the way to the other side, and they fit beautifully. And they're so nice to clean. They vacuum up in 2 seconds. Of course, you can wipe them right off, that's no problem. So if you have any children, car seat space is always a concern. This is a massive car seat, and I'm pretty tall, and I have my seat all the way back, and it fits perfectly. And there's tons of room right here to get him in and out. All right, let's go ahead and shut this thing off. Let's take you for a trip underneath the hood, and you can take a look at what it looks like. Really, the only modification that I've done to this truck is lights. I put LED lights in, headlights, low beams, high beams, and fog lights. Check out my other video to see that. I walk you through the install process and how they look before and after, and how they're like 50 times brighter. I'm not even exaggerating. It'll blow your mind if you switch the headlights, get rid of the halogens. It's not worth it, man. It just feels like you're driving in the dark. It's unbelievable. I almost thought I had a problem with my eyesight. So here we go. Inside of the engine bay, we just have your engine, believe it or not. There it is, 6.4 liter Hemi engine. It's tucked in there pretty far. And the crazy part is how tall this truck is. Like this is almost up to my armpits. So like working on it can be a bit difficult, but you can get in there, I guess, and do stuff. Luckily, this truck is still under factory warranty, and I did get the factory certificate to extend it to a 100,000 mile powertrain warranty on it. I'm not taking any chances. This is the nicest truck I've ever owned. So when I invest this much money into a truck, I want it hopefully to last. The truck does drive extremely nice. It drives in a straight line. The ride quality is a bit rough, but what would you expect with something rated to tow, I don't know, whatever it is, 35,000 pounds with a fifth wheel on it or something like that. Of course, if it was diesel, I get it. So you might be wondering, you know, can you live with driving this every day as a daily around town, into parking lots, in and out? Yes, you can. We take it grocery shopping all the way. Although an 8-foot bed might seem like overkill for groceries, they do fit nicely in here, I will say. Especially when you're going to Costco and buying things in massive sizes. We actually just made a trip to Costco Business Center. They have some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen before. Check it out in another video. Me and the family went out there, and you can see some of the crazy stuff they have there. So it's absolutely worth daily driving a truck like this, as long as you do not have to parallel park it. Parallel parking it, just forget about it. Hope at least you got at least a semi-truck's length worth of curb that you can try to park this thing on. Turning radius, it doesn't even exist. It does not even exist. That's what you get, I guess, when you have a truck the size of a school bus. Also included in the option package were these factory running boards, and they are pretty nice, I will say. So I'm quite happy to have them on there. I know it makes it easier for a lot of people to get in and out of the truck, so I'll just consider myself lucky. So here's a shot of what the factory tow mirrors look like. Of course, they're just black plastic. They're not painted. It does have a cool Ram detail inside of there. I guess it's the little things that make us happy, right? So I searched and searched and searched forever for a topper, camper, whatever you call it. My wife calls it a turtle shell. So I commonly refer to it as the turtle shell. The turtle shell on this truck is a little bit of a mismatching color. It's close. And the funny thing is, on my last truck, I had a dark gray truck with a black turtle shell. And on this one, it's a light silver and I have a dark silver turtle shell. It's just the luck of the draw when you're buying them secondhand. I looked for like months and months to try to find one of these for this body style Ram with an 8-foot bed. They're just not out there. And if they are out there, they're like $3,500. Who's gonna buy one for $3,500? So believe it or not, this one is actually from the previous body style Ram. It's almost identical. It fits fine. You can see here, it still fits to the shape of the cab. It's a little bit tight up here, but it fits just fine. Take a look. Believe it or not, it is that close of a fit on this body style Ram. So I went ahead and went with it. There is a trim piece that goes here. I just haven't put it on yet. You're supposed to screw it into the tailgate. I just haven't brought myself to do that to this truck yet. Now, aesthetically, this might not be the best choice, but it's pretty necessary for us in our business. We're always putting inventory boxes and stuff in there. We're hauling stuff to and from places. Sometimes it ends up spending the night inside of the truck bed. You know, you get home, it's late, you got the baby, you got to put him down to sleep, still got to shower, eat dinner. It's just, you're going to load it in the morning, believe me. So this truck did come equipped with 18-inch wheels. Now, these aren't premium wheels by any means, although I don't mind the way they look. They're like a polished finish. They look great, honestly, once they're clean and you get all the brake dust off there. And this also impressively has like 410 horsepower and like 460 foot-pounds of torque. I'll put the actual numbers here on screen. And you know what? It's honestly, for the biggest truck I've ever owned, I think it might be the quickest truck I've ever owned. It really does feel much quicker, especially compared to my 1500 GMC that I had before this one. I still can't believe how quick this one feels, you know, from stoplights. For such a massive truck, it drives really well. Now, the back seat in this truck is incredibly spacious. I still can't believe how much room there is back here, which is actually a huge benefit, especially if you have kids. We have car seats. My wife spends so much time back here trying to keep our son busy while he's in the car because he hates car rides. I think it's just the rear-facing car ride phase. New parents, let me know if this ends. Please tell me it ends. But anyway, there's tons of room back here. We can have room for toys and of course snacks. This guy's a little crumb monster. He needs snacks at all times and has to be leaving crumbs everywhere in this truck. I think I have to vacuum it like one after every ride, basically. But I guess I can't say I blame him. I do get cranky too when I don't have snacks, so I guess I say it makes sense to me. Now, one thing that I do miss is this truck does not have like power sliding or even manual sliding glass in the back. Would be nice to open it up. My last truck did have that, which was kind of a nice feature. You could open it up and at least open up the windows and the camper shell and get a breeze through the truck. Or sometimes when you have to like bring home some like 18-foot long thing of trim or something from the hardware store, I would rest it right up on top of the dashboard and it would go all the way through into the truck bed. So sometimes that's a nice unique feature. So here in the back seat, I'm going to show you actually what I say is honestly one of the coolest features about this truck. Let me show you. It's right here. The hidden storage under the seat. Here, of course, I keep lots of things. We have hammers, straps. I always keep straps in here, and somehow my son's toys always end up, hi baby Yoda, always end up mixed up in there, but I guess that's just the nature of the beast, keeping a bunch of toys in here. For those of you that are looking for your jack or the release for the lower the spare tire, it actually took me quite some time. I was looking around under the rear seat and I couldn't find it. It is under the passenger seat. You can see there's a little jack logo there. You pop this cap off, comes off. You can just see the cover. Pops right off. Inside of there is the jack, the arm and everything, and your tire iron to change a flat tire. Here's kind of how the passenger side wheel liners look. These things are great. Like I said, they vacuum really easy. You can wipe them down, super simple. And one nice feature actually is the detail on the door panels. I was actually quite surprised at how nice the interior looks on just a truck that's one step above a base model. Like I had mentioned before, it is the big horn. That's the logo it comes with. And it is a 4x4. And just in case anybody driving behind me is curious what model it is, we do have a 3-foot in diameter Ram emblem right in the middle of the tailgate, so I let everybody know that I am now in the Ram Brotherhood. A couple other notable things about the interior that I find quite funny is the driver's side doesn't have a mirror, so they probably assume that if you're some ugly guy driving a Ram, you're not gonna be looking at how you look anyways, or I guess at least you have a rear view mirror, you can just aim it at your face if you really wanna scare yourself. There's also a really cool cubby right here. I guess you can store your phone or something, although I wouldn't recommend it. Sun will probably bake it and it's not going to be usable. It's going to have an overheating warning on it. And there is actually a cigarette lighter power outlet right there. Down below we have charger ports, and these actually also somehow work with a CarPlay. I don't know. The second I plug my phone in there, it's almost instantly recognized, which is kind of nice, I guess. USB-A and USB-C, and believe it or not, there's still an, that's right, you see that? There's still an aux jack. So even though it has Bluetooth and CarPlay, no matter what, you'll be able to put your music on because there's also an aux jack. Although phones don't even have aux jacks anymore, so I guess technology will just never align itself with each other. So this armrest does fold up. Inside of it is the center cubby. And then there's actually another storage. Oops, let me get that out of the way. There is another storage container down here. You just can open that and you can lift all this, but it's a bit heavy right now. That is where I just store all my extra bulbs and some extra tools in case I ever need them. So it's about time we go for a ride in it. You might be wondering, are there any other downsides with this truck? Probably the space that it takes up on the driveway is a lot more than your average car. It kind of can be a pain in the butt when you got to share it with the other cars and try to open doors. But as far as my son's concerned, it probably feels like he's traveling in a giant spaceship, so I don't think he's complaining. All right, one thing I didn't get to share with you is what does the inside of the truck bed look like? Typically in your work trucks, sorry, don't mind my mess, we just got diaper bag, Amazon packages, and towing straps. I guess that pretty much sums up my life right now. Anyways, most of them don't come with a bed liner. This is a drop-in bed liner. It is quite nice. This is the hard plastic style, so it makes things sliding in and out much easier. Also, when you have to crawl in there, it doesn't feel like you're walking across a mile of glass on your knees because that spraying stuff is so rough. It's like walking on like 20 grit sandpaper. So anyways, this one has a hard plastic drop-in liner. It's fantastic. I'm really happy about that. And it is, of course, an 8-foot bed. There are lights, I believe, in here somewhere. Maybe not light. I can't remember if this has lights or if that's my last truck. Anyways, when you're a new parent, make sure you get sleep. All right, now it's time. Let's get in and go for a ride. Don't mind me, I just gotta get a sip of water. You may notice, yes, my Stanley was paint matched. I know it's a big Dodge Ram thing to get everything that you own paint matched, so I'm trying to keep up. Don't judge me yet. All right, so let me turn my volume knob, my gear shifter, and we're gonna go for a ride. So reverse camera, of course, super nice. I believe it comes standard on anything after 2018. It's required by law. Of course, because this has the bigger screen, just a bigger backup camera. Now, cabin is super quiet when you're driving around. It's actually surprisingly quiet until you go over a bumpy road and have to deal with the stiff suspension. But other than that, no road noise. You don't hear tires or anything like that. Of course, I just have stock road tires on here. So this is actually saying that I was getting 13.5 miles per gallon. I believe that was, I don't know, the last 25 miles or so just driving over here to record the video. So the craziest thing is how tall you are when you're driving in this truck. Makes you feel like you're looking down on the other truck. Kind of empowering. I'm not sure if that's weird or not, but it does feel that way. Kind of cool, actually. And you also get to see the top of like smaller cars and SUVs that you never have seen ever in your life, and you never realize how small they are. Like Honda HR-V, I can see the top of its roof as I drive by it. Speed bump. I don't know. See, this camera's got a little bit of image stabilization in it, so you might not be able to feel how rough that ride is, but it's ridiculously bad. Of course, radio works well. We have Apple CarPlay, one of my personal favorites. Haven't really taken this truck on a road trip yet. I believe farthest it's gone is maybe no, that's not true. It's been out to Iowa and back, so maybe about 8 hours round trip. It drives super nice. It's been out to Indiana, somewhere out in Indiana and back. It drives well. Only problem I had with it was a dead battery. Dealt with that for a few days. That was kind of a pain in the butt. Put it on the charger, it lasted a couple more days and it was slowly dying and dying and dying. And then I took it into service. Luckily they replaced it under warranty, so I got a new battery in here. And surprisingly, I think they bumped it up to like a 720 cranking amp. It had like a 640 cold cranking amp battery. I was like blown away that there's such a small battery in this truck. I'm glad to see that it got a little bit bigger one. My only other complaint is sometimes Apple CarPlay, I get a Uconnect service warning. This thing just won't go away. I took it to service, of course, no problem found, as you would expect, and they didn't do anything about it. Everything works, so I'm not really sure what that warning is about. Hopefully, I actually never find out what that warning is about. But you can see here, clearly, this thing drives like a dream. It's just parking it that's the problem. Although, did we master it in one swing? Let's take a look. All right, do we want to place bets if I landed it in one swing? So here we are. Looks like we're straight, although I don't think we're in the middle of the spot. It's worse than I thought. We're over the line quite a bit. So not too bad for parking that there. That's probably the biggest downfall of a truck like this. So if anyone was to ever ask me, I would absolutely say buy as long as you are under, I don't know, 5'10", just so you can fit in easily. It's awkward to get in the truck. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Lastly, probably the most important, not even a mod, more of a maintenance item, thing that I did for this truck, Cavity Wax sprayed the living daylight out of this thing. We put it up on a lift and we actually braid everything, every hole along the frame, every cross member, inside the wheel wells, inside any pinch weld. We just hose this thing down with cavity wax. And we hosed it so much. This has actually been annoying. Right there, it's leaking out cavity wax because there's so much. You can see right both corners there and there. There's so much cavity wax coming out of that seam, inside of the fenders, inside of the quarters. But I hope that the corrosion protection works. Sometimes the rams just rust so badly and I really don't want that to happen with my truck. I don't plan on doing anything crazy with it, but I need it to last for our family. So the thing that bothers me the most, I mean the absolute most about this truck right here, check this out. You ready? It's too tall. I can't get in it in one seat. Like I can try to get in here, but like it's pretty awkward. It's such a tall truck. The seat's pretty high, and if I keep doing that, I'm gonna destroy this seat cover. It's gonna be no good. I'll end up with holes, wear marks through it. But then check this out. If I use the running board, I'm way too tall. And you know what I've already done 3 times? Hit my head right there. I can't even explain how bad that hurts. Every single time I get in this truck, you ready? Watch this. You're gonna see this awkward stance that I have to take to get inside of here. I gotta step up, then crouch, and then get myself in. Is this normal? Or am I the only one doing this? Please let me know if there's an easier way to get in this truck. So anyways, thank you guys for sticking it out with me today and going through everything I like, dislike about this truck. I 100% recommend it to anybody that's interested in buying one. It's well worth it. And we will see you guys on the next one. I gotta get back out to enjoying this beautiful day with my family over there walking in the park, and I gotta get my vitamin D in. See ya.